Good morning, Blues. How you doing today? Stephen here. The day after Manchester City's 3-1 victory over RB Leipzig, I'm very tired. I've sat in the hotel lobby currently before I get back and get the plane back to Manchester. I thought I'd do a quick match reaction. It was too late by the time I got back to the hotel last night. I didn't get around to doing it, but I really enjoyed that, man. It was really good fun. Leipzig were good. They were exactly what you expect from Leipzig. They were passionate. They were intense. The atmosphere was cracking. It really was. The fans were really up for it. But City was simply just better. Pep was buzzing last night after that game, and you could understand why. There was a semblance of control and maturity to that display that you only really get from being treble winners. You only really get from being champions. You only really get from knowing this competition inside out. And that's what City do these days. I mean, you could tell immediately that Rodri was back in the team. The system just felt so much more fluid. But of course, the big surprise immediately was Rico Lewis in midfield. Can we just talk about Rico Lewis, honestly? I'm not going to lie, I got goosebumps for that first goal. I really did. I was sat there, the Red Bull Arena, 45,000 people, watching 18-year-old treble-winning Rico Lewis playing in midfield, position he's barely played in for the best team in the world, literally probably the best team in the world, Man City. And it was absolutely excellent. It was genuinely brilliant against the Leipzig side that started well this season. The smartness, the intelligence, his understanding of the game state and where to be and how to move the ball between those around him. Just remarkable stuff. Absolutely remarkable, honestly. That boy is insanely smart, insanely intelligent. But that's what you get from a man trained and brought up in the Guardiola system, blessed with incredible intelligence, I guess. And but he's moving between the pockets. There was times that someone said to me on Twitter, it reminds me of Gundogan a little bit. I was like, I can see that. His game last night, a couple of little turns where he turned out of trouble. Like, he's the closest you'll get, I reckon, actually, at times to a Bernardo or Gundogan regen. And he's only 18 years old. Imagine him in 2 or 3 years, just how good he could be. Like, this guy is a special talent, a wonderfully gifted young footballer. And the assist, the cutback for Phil Foden, to feed in another City fan in the Champions League. City to City. Honestly, a goal made in Manchester. Lovely stuff from two Blues celebrating on the biggest stage in world football. Just absolutely ridiculous, genuinely ridiculous. And I felt so proud as a City fan because they're living my dream, man. Living your dream. It's just remarkable stuff, but we continue to be blessed with remarkable things from this Manchester City side. Rodri to me. You can see Rodri being back meant that City, kept the flow of the game perfectly, so much more better, And I think after Wolves the other day, I wasn't surprised to see that Pep actually made a few changes to the game. You brought in Nunes and Kovacic off actually because they weren't that great, were they? Unfortunately, the other day, and Pep made a big old change. Will Rico now get the nod against Arsenal? I don't really know, but what I do know is the quality of the football. Yes, it was so much better. Leipzig were good, by the way. They were really good. They were quick to break. They were incisive. They had the home crowd behind them, of course. You can see why it's such a difficult place to go. And you've got to give City credit for that, for handling it much better than a lot of teams would. It wasn't easy. It really wasn't. Their goal was a quick counter-attack, taken really well for what it's worth. It was tough to try and break them down, but, eventually we got the second and third goal, which we'll go into a little bit. Going through the rest of the team, I thought Foden was excellent, wonderful goal. He was so much more comfortable receiving the ball a lot. And there was times when he was dropping deep to get the ball as well. You can tell he's a guy who thrives off being on the ball. Not every player will do that. Not every player looks better the more they touch the ball. Some just start to highlight their weaknesses. But Phil Foden is the exact opposite in that instant. He's such a gifted footballer. And I like this role for him. I think with Bernardo playing on the right, it allowed Foden to drop a little bit deeper and get more involved, and it worked perfectly as well. I thought Haaland unfortunately didn't have his best game again. Haaland, I love you, Erling, but you got to take some of those chances a little bit better. He's going through a bit of a rough patch right now by his exceptionally high standards. I reckon it'll fine. It will play out. It will happen. He is only a relatively young footballer. We forget that at times. He wasn't guilty of massive chances being missed. The one at the back post, he was stretching with all of his 6'5" frame to get that from Foden's cross, and I don't really blame him for that miss because he was so stretched and he just went wide. Didn't want to even get it in the first place. But there was a couple from Rico Lewis where he fed him, where he should have done better, where he sort of passed it gently to the keeper or ballooned it over. You got to do better than that, mate. You got to be better than that because it's been a little bit inconsistent, recently. course, it was good to see Bernardo back. He wasn't at his very best, but you could tell that he's just a natural ability to hold the ball, which really benefited Man City. And Grealish was the same on the other side. I think Grealish still needs to create more, but Pep was right to say that the way that City controlled the game was a lot to do with those two as well. It's genuinely true. It's true. We have to control the game, control the game state a little bit better, and control, keep moving the ball, passing it. And Pep was quick to stress that when you can get 15, 20 passes going, all of a sudden he's got a feeling with this City side something good will happen. And I agree with that, actually. It did feel that way, that the City are at the best when we're controlling the ball, when we're just happier when the other team's not touching it. And that's just really basic, but we started to get more confident the more passes we complete, which is such a Man City thing to do, but it's just how it is, it works for us. Vardy, by the way. Like, to do what he did at his very young age, going back to his team, like, so many players would have wilted under that pressure, but Josko, man, it's just absolutely... Look, the term Rolls Royce is thrown around to any elegant footballer who has a big game, but that was it last night. That was it. The way he was stepping into midfield and driving past people and playing pinpoint reverse and diagonal passes to City's forward line, so good. And defensively, like an ox, man. I couldn't quite catch up with Pender running back, but that's not his fault. He's a lightning quick player. But he was just an absolute brick wall for Leipzig to try and get through. I was so impressed with his overall physicality and just a fantastic footballer. And obviously we paid a lot of money for him, but you can already tell he's going to be a world-class level footballer. I've got no doubt whatsoever about it. That was a top-class performance. It's like we've got a young John Stones who's left-footed. Imagine those two together. We're so close to witnessing it with Stones back on the bench. Diaz, Vardy, John Stones. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be absolutely beautiful to witness. But overall, I think the rest of the defence, Ruben played a couple of sloppy passes, but it was good, solid. It was good enough. Akanji, he doesn't suit that midfield role that he's been asked to play. I think that will change when Stones comes back. He wasn't terrible there, but occasionally he looks a little bit like a fish out of water, which he is to an extent. But I still think people are slightly overreacting to how he played there. Kyle. Walker, he was okay. Still doesn't offer a lot going forward, but defensively, he's got that recovery pace. I've not even touched on the substitutes yet. Julian Alvarez, is there anything that man can't do? That is what you call a cameo. Ridiculous. From where I was sat in the stadium, I thought his goal had taken a deflection off the defender over the keeper. Watched the replay back, googled it. Stupidly good. That ball striking ability, that man only scores special goals, it feels like. Ridiculous I'm him kind of performance from Alvarez when he came off the bench. And the fact that he won us the game was still with an 18-minute rest. Like, the technique on that goal, to just sort of dig it out of nowhere with absolutely no backlift whatsoever. Like, the finish into the top corner, the curl on that. Like Tevez Aguero-esque, just Yaya-esque. Ridiculously good stuff. And then, of course, it looks simple, but the way to pass on the counter for Doku, for their goal, perfect. He didn't have to break his stride whatsoever. And so many players do mess that up, They overhit it, underhit it, or they just don't make the pass whatsoever because they bottle it. Alvarez, absolutely perfect. So look, he's not De Bruyne, but right now he looks like De Bruyne's there. Very different kind of take on the role, but just goals and assists. What more can you ask for? And what more can you ask for from Jeremy Doku as well, man? Like, that is a cameo and a half. Dropping the gritty in the Champions League. Still, I don't know how to do that. I'm not going to even bother trying. I'm 38 years old. Far too old for that stuff. But once again, he got an assist for Alvarez. Okay, the assist is doing assist is doing a lot of work there, but he passed it, so he beat his man quarter sort of. And he got a goal as well, though. That is what you call an impact sub. The finish, by the way, I don't know if it's just over the years I've been conditioned to expect that we fluff one-on-ones because of certain players that used to do that for us. But he went through with such composure. Like, I actually thought, he's going to score here. I just didn't doubt it for a second. And opened his body up, started into the bottom corner. Lovely stuff for goal number 2 in his Manchester City career. Overall, I would say that is a masterclass of an away performance. You may not feel it when you watch it, and it's tense and tough. But Leipzig made it tense and tough. They're a good side. They are a really good side. And I was with a Leipzig fan. He was showing me around yesterday, and he was saying how confident they are right now because they've started the season in good form. They are 5th, but only by like 2 points behind the top or something like that. And he felt really confident going into this game. But City were just better. That is a 3-1 away victory in a rocking stadium. It's a German Bundesliga side doing well right now. It isn't easy. And City should be very, very happy with that result. I am. Anyway, guys, just some quick thoughts on there before I get on my plane. Hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know, of course, what you made of the game. Comments below. Sorry for no match reaction or stuff last night. I was just too tired, man. It was midnight when I got back at the hotel. Now, though, up the Blues. Like this video, subscribe to the channel. In a bit, Trevor with us.